very much appreciate the opportunity to address all of you at the forum this evening. I very much appreciate the opportunity to share the forum with such distinguished individuals as Professor Cain, Mark Walsh from the Illinois Council Against Handgun Violence. And of course, it is a particular honor for me to share this evening with Justice Doyle. As indicated, he is also one of my predecessors. And he is correct that being the state's attorney is a very unique and at times interesting and difficult job. This evening I'm also joined by members of my office that are here to assist me because the concealed carry law and the debate that has gone on has interested not only this community but the communities across the state of Illinois. I'm very happy to have with me the Chief of Criminal Prosecutions for the State's Attorney's Office, Marilyn Height-Ross. Marilyn recently authored a memorandum on behalf of the Illinois State's Attorneys Association on the issue of self-defense and how it will impact with the advent of the concealed carry law. I also have with me this evening the State's Attorney's Chief of Staff and Chief of Civil Bureau, Mr. Kurlinkus. Dave Kurlinkus, I guess we can take that. Dave authored the State's Attorney's opinion and presented that to the county when the county was debating the issue of whether or not the county had the legal authority to pass an ordinance enacting concealed carry. I brought both of these individuals here this evening because recognizing that questions could arise with regards to the impact of the criminal law, as well as the issues that could impact the county from a corporate counsel standpoint. And I think it's important that we have an open discussion that does look at the impact, concerns, and the ramifications as we sit on the eve of implementing a very important piece of legislation in Illinois. As I reflected on this evening, I thought to myself, the Constitution and its amendments is an amazing document. To think that our citizen ancestors over 200 years ago had the vision and the forethought to put together a governing document that could withstand amazing tests of time. In 1789, there were 12 states. We were about to ratify a 13th state. And there were 3.9 million people comprising what was then the United States of America. Contrast that today with the fact that we have 50 states and 317 million people. Think of some of the things that have occurred during the past 200 plus years. Advances in technology, changes in culture, a civil war. Yet, this document has survived it all. It is often described as a living document, a breathing document, a document that has expanded and contracted with changes. And that's what makes our country amazing the debates that go on, amazing, the changes in law, amazing, this forum, amazing. And the parts of the Constitution and its amendments are no different. And the Second Amendment is important to all of us on some level. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Amen. Wonderful words written, debated, talked about, and the origin of creation of an important piece of legislation, important case law. One of the most important cases, the Heller case, summed it up for us. In that case, it was established by the Supreme Court that they recognized the constitutional right for its citizens to bear arms. But they also recognized that it was subject to sensible restrictions. Because you see, the amendments of the Constitution are not absolute. We know that to be true through the historical discussions and decisions regarding all the amendments. Justice Scalia wrote, "Like most rights, the Second Amendment right is not unlimited. It is not a right to keep and carry any weapon whatsoever, in any manner whatsoever, and for whatever purpose." But with that said, we should all understand that this Constitution provides for the right to bear arms, and the Illinois Concealed Carry Law defines how the Illinois citizens shall do so. Tonight, we're going to focus on the concerns that are on the minds of the citizens as we sit on the eve of implementation. How is this going to impact our community? What are going to be the ramifications as the concealed carry law goes into effect over the coming months and we see its effect over the coming years? So what are the questions? Some of us ask a very important question. Will the concealed carry law reduce crime? Public safety is important to this community. There are many discussions about what can be done to improve public safety. The answers on whether or not concealed carry will reduce crime are mixed. If you look at what's gone on in other jurisdictions, you have different results, different analysis, different conclusions. Many argue that concealed carry will have a positive impact and reduce crime and increase public safety. Studies have been done. Studies were done in Florida, and studies were done by a gentleman by the name of John Lott in a book called More Guns, Less Crime. And the conclusion in those studies was that having concealed carry reduced the crime rate, especially amongst violent crimes. Mr. Lott and others argued that after the passage of concealed carry, the crime rate was in fact reduced. Others have taken the opposite position. In an article written in the Standard Law Review in 1993, it was argued that the crime rate was not, in fact, reduced. That the presence of concealed carry did not provide a positive impact with regards to public safety. It argued the previous studies that the data was flawed and inconclusive. That when the data became more robust, that at the very least you had to concur or agree or come to the conclusion that there was little to no impact by the presence of concealed carry. Then there's the common sense analysis. How does it impact people from a human nature standpoint? Does concealed carry impact those who would commit crimes in our community? Does it make them think twice about the fact that somebody may be able to defend themselves with a firearm? And how does it make the citizens feel? Does it make you feel safer when you have a firearm on your person? I believe that the common sense analysis answers those questions favorably. I believe that individuals who are able to defend themselves feel a greater sense of public safety, a greater sense of security, a greater ability to defend themselves. I also believe that it's human nature that any individual who's going to commit a crime is going to be forced to think twice if he believes that any citizen is capable of defending themselves with a weapon. I think in the end, the conclusion is that the impact of concealed carry on the crime rate is at the very least positive, is at the very least not going to, in any way, any shape or form, negatively impact our community from a crime rate standpoint or a public safety standpoint. And I end with that point because I believe that the second question or the second concern is, does the concealed carry law create concerns that those who will be given permits and those that will be allowed to carry weapons in our community, will they have an impact on our community from a public safety standpoint? And I think the answer there is a resounding no. The impact of concealed carry on the crime rate is at the very least positive, is at the very least not going to, in any way, any shape or form, negatively impact our community from a crime rate standpoint or a public safety standpoint. And I end with that point because I believe that the second question or the second concern is, does the concealed carry law create concerns that those who will be given permits and those that will be allowed to carry weapons in our community, will they have an impact on our community from a public safety standpoint? And I think the answer there is a resounding no. The studies will show that individuals that commit offenses in communities, and a study was done in Texas that demonstrated that those who possess firearms legally and are properly permitted are actually less likely to commit criminal offenses. In fact, those that were permitted, it was found were less likely overall to commit any offense, let alone a particular offense. That when it came to revocation of permits, that revocation was very small. That individuals who receive permits respect the law. That the truth of the matter is that when it came to revocation of permits, most revocations were because people just simply didn't renew the license. And when it came to those who actually lost their permit because of a legal violation, committed an offense, most of those offenses were actually in the area of DUI, drunk driving offenses. Not offenses of violence, not offenses with guns. Most of those were as a result of individuals who committed offenses that weren't associated with violent crimes. In addition to that, I believe that individuals who have a FOID card and have a concealed carry permit understand the ramifications and the responsibilities of carrying a firearm. They understand that there is self-defense requirements and criminal and civil liability. They understand that if they pull out that gun and that they use that weapon to defend themselves or others, that they will be subject to an evaluation by legal authorities as to whether or not that action was justified. They understand that there could be civil liability, that you could be sued for your actions. They understand that by making a mistake with regards to a firearm, that you could lose the right for life to legally possess a firearm, to legally conceal carry in our community. Today, while discussing the presentation, myself and Ms. Hyde-Ross looked over the past 5 years that we've been responsible for making decisions about prosecutions in this community. And I can tell you that not only have those who have been law-abiding citizens, those who have held FOID cards, not been a concern for the office of the state's attorney, not been violators of the law, that I really cannot point to a single case where a card-carrying FOID card holder in the state of Illinois has committed an offense related to guns. So I'm here to tell you that as the state's attorney, my concerns are focused on others. My concerns are focused on the criminals in our community. My concerns are focused on those who are buying guns illegally through the black market. My concerns are focused on how do we properly keep track of those who have mental health problems so that firearms do not end up in their hands. My concerns are about straw purchasers, those who go to other states, buy guns, come back to Illinois and illegally sell them to those who will commit crimes against the citizens in this room and out in our community. For the past 5 years, I have supported the passage of concealed carry. I applaud the legislature for doing so. This evening, we sit here and concealed carry is in fact legal as a matter of law in the state of Illinois. Is it legal yet to carry a weapon concealed in Illinois? No, it is not. Why? Because, as Professor Cain has outlined, we have a permitting process. A permitting process that will begin in January. In January, you will be able to submit an application to the state police, and they only have 90 days to determine whether or not you will receive a permit. And once you do so, you will be able to legally carry a weapon concealed in the state of Illinois. I also have the ability and have taken a look at cases that have come before the state's attorney's office and exercised our discretion to make sure that we recognize the spirit of what goes on in this community with regards to those who have possessed weapons and used those weapons. We continue to exercise that discretion on a case-by-case basis. I know that some of my colleagues across the state have taken a different point of view with regards to prosecutorial discretion. And I respect, but I do not find that prosecutorial discretion should be a chance to supplant what is legislative intent. So I ask all of you to be patient, to follow the process that has been laid out by the state of Illinois. I ask the citizens to continue to engage in the legal process that the legislature has laid out. And I do believe that as the state's attorney of Winnebago County, that the concealed carry law will be a positive impact on the community of Winnebago County. I do believe that it will be a positive impact on public safety. I have supported this legislation, and I support all of you in the community that choose to take advantage of it. And I ask everybody in the community to take the time to worry about those in the community that are not going to follow the law and assist us in making sure that we can make Winnebago County a safer place by focusing on the criminals, those with mental health concerns, and those that are illegally selling guns. It is an honor to serve as the state's attorney of Winnebago County, and again, an honor to serve and sit with these gentlemen to discuss an important issue like concealed carry this evening. Thank you all very much.